Hey everyone, it's Craig. I am here to do some wall reading. And if you don't know what that means, you're not alone. So just hang in there for 30 seconds. So the wall itself is the cube, and it's made of 386 pieces of art created over 6,000 days. I create 2 every month, and it forms 5 chapters. The first 4 chapters are pretty much the wall that links together. And that takes us into June of 2027. And the last chapter, which is the top and the bottom, is kind of like that mirror. Which direction did we go from where we are today, and based on our actions in current time. So you'll see how that works. So right now, we just finished chapter 3 at the end of last year. And if you see, all the pieces, all the chapters link together, as well as the artworks themselves. And it starts to tell this story. And this story has been not only documenting what's going on, but it's also kind of allowed me to look into the future based on the drawings. I've noticed recently that I've been able to kind of get ahead of some things that might be coming. So hopefully it'll help you as well. Now, right now, what we're going to go through is chapter 4. So instead of growing from left to right like the other chapters have done, except chapter 1 blossomed, then chapter 2 grew from 1, then chapter 3 grew from 2, from left to right, so 2 pieces each month. Actually, chapter 4, the last chapter before our final exam, the vine is growing from the right side and it's growing from the left side. If you've been following the left side, chapter 3, you'll know we've had this big tidal wave of technology, AI, crypto, all that stuff that's been happening through chapter 3. And now we're into chapter 4, and it's clashing and colliding with chapter 1, which was the revelation back in 10 years ago when it started. And that was this burst of acknowledgement of how bad the climate could actually get. And there was this argument of if it was real or not. So we've done a complete 360, because now there's barely anyone saying it's not real. But now it's like there's so much other stuff on top of it that's going bad. So we're going to look into that. We're going to dive into chapter 4 and see if we can figure some of this out. So here we are. We're in Photoshop, and we can zoom in really far in these. They're actually a fraction of the real size, but for placing everything, I bring it down to about a third of the size. Otherwise, this file would be huge. And notice there's only 3 chapters on this one. There's 3, and then there's 4 in the middle, and then there's 1 to the right. If you see, this is the full Monty. And when you link it together, you'll see that if the far right will touch the far left, and that's that full circle. So it'll be this never-ending infinity loop, which that's why the cube is an infinity cube, because the top and bottom are going to do the same thing. So we're gonna basically clip this part out right here, and what you're seeing, it might not look like this dark part, but it actually is. So if we take away all the hidden stuff, now you see chapter 4 and how it's growing. So you see how it's starting to grow from chapter 1, excuse me, and then from chapter 3 as well. And so right now we've got everything down here. We've got crypto. The winter is melting. You've got this building right here. This will be done 2 months from now. So it's interesting to see how we've got new yokes. We've got the crypto, or we got blockchain. So we can call it crypto, blockchain. It looks like some good things are going to happen in the blockchains. Right now, it's skyrocketing up. Bitcoin, Bitcoin and all the altcoins, but that is because the ETFs, and now it's an asset class. So everyone's jumping in on that. And then after this big rush in, they're going to say, well, what's the value of blockchain? So it looks like the value of blockchain is going to be shown right here, and it's going to go mix. And remember, this yellow or this blue is Web3, all the new advancements in technology. So there seemed to be a good collision here on all that. And then we've got obviously the robotics that are coming, but I still see blocks in here, so that's a good sign. There's blocks right here, but I'll show you what those blocks mean. You might be a little scared, but what I wanted to showcase is the biotech. I think if you see the swirling around, we've definitely got the robotics still kicking in, and everything comes in waves. You've got your secular big waves and you got your cyclical big waves. I think what's going to happen is, people think the stock market's gone up too fast, too much. Don't worry about that. What AI has done is it's created this new level. So I don't think it's going to drop down because it's going up too fast. It's actually it's almost creating a new platform and a new high, or a new low, basically, a new baseline. But on top of that, we're in this business cycle with the cyclical business cycle ever since 2008. They basically worldwide kind of erased debt and said, all right, we're all starting from here, but everyone owes every 3 to 4 years. We got to pay it off and refinance if not. So we have to bring the interest rates down because everybody's going to be refinancing at a higher level. And then governments, not just ours, are going to be even more in debt. This is going to play out until about 2025, into 2025. I think this rise is going to keep just kicking butt. And there's going to be some, obviously, ups and downs. Bitcoin, ups and downs. But what's happening is there's a lot of momentum going into Bitcoin and technology, because if you're not making 15% or more returns, then you're actually losing money. And I think biotech, if I'm reading this right, biotech is that next little wave that's going to be hitting everything, and it's going to come around. Obviously, it's going to clash with all the anger and frustration. I believe this brown right here is definitely going to be the presidential election, that kind of stuff, because it is brown. The cool thing is there's not so much brown everywhere. Like if it was filled like with this dark brown, like it was with the this is Roe versus Wade, the overturning. If you see the people pulling on her, she's actually that's her belly, and it's empty. So I don't know, this is pretty sinister, and it shows just what's happening in politics. But even right here, this is a tailored demise, which is basically this far-right government wanting to tear everything down at their own demise. We've got all this great stuff bubbling up around us, and we need a stable environment for all this to happen, just like any experiment. So this is all really good stuff over here. This is experimenting and love, and purple is our enlightenment. By the way, pink, if I didn't mention, is AI. And that's why it's got its got its tentacles wrapping around everything. So I apologize. Colors definitely are very meaningful, and this purple, which is cool, is there's this realization. I think the world is like, we really need to lighten up, and this was a great spark, and so is this biotech. And I think what we're seeing here, I'm gonna scroll out, and I'm gonna show you. If you can't see, do you see that huge skull? This is the huge skull. Eye socket 1, eye socket 2, nose sockets, and then teeth. I don't know what this is saying. It's been on here I drew this a couple years ago just as a blob. And but everything was kind of a blob. I kind of just go back and kind of refine it while I'm refining all the other ones, and it's definitely stayed a skull. It's actually generated a few more skulls, which is a little disturbing, considering it's on the good tech side, and then you got the madhouse, this evil stuff. This is going to be pretty crazy when it's done. There's a huge, massive change in everything. You've got your old tech that's waving back up. So you got this wave that's hitting. You got the tech wave that's hitting and crashing into this mess, this red, this anxiety, climate change, civil unrest, all that kind of stuff. But you've got all this other stuff on top of it trying to bubble up. So I think that skull, it could be both good and bad, but it is definitely concerning, and that definitely means that there's going to be a lot of weird shit that's going to be happening in this chapter 4. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a doozy.